Have you ever found yourself staring blankly at your computer screen, or maybe out the window during your commute, and a thought just pops into your head? Is this really it? Is this what my life is supposed to be about? It's a feeling many of us grapple with, that nagging sense that perhaps we're just going through the motions, caught in an endless cycle of work, obligations, and fleeting moments of joy. We see the highlight reels on social media, we hear the rallying cries to follow your passion, and yet, for so many, that passion feels elusive, a distant dream. We're told to find a job we love, but what if we don't even know what that is? Or what if the realities of bills, responsibilities, and just plain needing to survive make that feel like an impossible luxury? If these questions resonate with you, stick around, because today we're diving deep into what truly makes a life worth living, inspired by the profound wisdom of a woman who navigated nearly a century of life's ups and downs. We're talking about Dr. Suneko Nakamura, a Japanese psychiatrist who worked tirelessly for 70 years, right up until she was 90. She wasn't a celebrity academic, she hadn't published groundbreaking papers in her youth, and by many conventional standards, she was an ordinary person. Yet her book, which translates to something like Habits for Reconciling with Your Heart and Doing Everything Well, or more simply, The Value of Human Life, offers an extraordinary wellspring of practical philosophy. It's not about grand, unattainable ideals, but about finding meaning and contentment in the everyday, even when life throws its toughest challenges your way. Dr. Nakamura's insights, born from decades of experience and witnessing the human condition firsthand, provide a roadmap for navigating work, relationships, and the pursuit of happiness, ultimately showing us that no matter our circumstances, we can indeed live a life of profound value. So let's explore her wisdom together and uncover how we can make our own journey truly worthwhile. One of the first and perhaps most liberating ideas Dr. Nakamura presents is something that might feel a bit counterintuitive in our passion-driven culture. It's okay to work for money. In fact, she suggests it's entirely natural. There's an old saying, people die for money, birds die for food, which sounds a bit stark, but it touches on a fundamental truth. However, our attitude towards working for money can be the difference between a life of drudgery and one of acceptance, even contentment. Dr. Nakamura's own story is a testament to this. Born in rural Japan into a large family with a schoolteacher father, opportunities were scarce, especially for girls. Higher education was a luxury not afforded to everyone, and like many families of that era, preference was often given to sons. She had no grand dream of becoming a psychiatrist. At 16, her paths were starkly limited: get married or find a way to support herself. Then an opportunity arose. Japan was facing a severe shortage of psychiatrists, and an uncle who ran a clinic in Osaka offered to cover the educational expenses for anyone willing to pursue the field. For young Suneko, this wasn't a calling, it was a lifeline. It was a chance to get an education, to avoid early marriage or manual labor. So she left her hometown, moved to Osaka, passed her university exams, and became a doctor. Think about that. Her entry into a lifelong profession wasn't driven by a burning passion or a deep-seated interest in psychiatry from the outset. It was a pragmatic decision, a response to the circumstances life presented. And because of this, she initially found no joy in her work. She did it to survive, to support herself, and later her family. If she didn't do this, what else could she do? This internal conflict, this feeling of being trapped in a job she didn't choose out of love, caused her immense distress and a sense of contradiction. She saw her brothers, who received parental support and pursued careers they enjoyed with good salaries, and felt a deep sense of unfairness, of powerlessness. This is a reality for so many of us, isn't it? We finish school, perhaps with a vague idea of what we want, or maybe with no clear idea at all. We take a job, work hard, and then somewhere along the line, we realize it's not fulfilling us. Maybe it's not what we thought it would be, or maybe we've changed. The truth is, no job is perfect. Every single career path comes with its own set of unavoidable pressures and frustrations. You might have to plaster on a smile and bow and scrape to deal with difficult clients just to close a deal. You might have to drag yourself through rush hour traffic, rain or shine, battling illness because you can't afford to miss a day. Every job has elements that can make us unhappy. But Dr. Nakamura had an epiphany. She realized that constantly questioning, "What is the purpose of this job for me?" was precisely what was making her miserable. Dwelling on the why when the why felt dissatisfying was a recipe for anguish. So she made a conscious shift. She told herself firmly and decisively, "I am working simply to earn money to live." And in that acceptance, she found a strange kind of freedom. Working for money, she concluded, isn't shameful. It's natural. It's a fundamental human activity. Over her 7 decades as a psychological counselor, Dr. Nakamura heard countless patients voice their exhaustion and frustration with their jobs. What she observed was that much of their suffering stemmed from a misunderstanding of the fundamental nature of work. At its core, she explains, whatever the job, people work to live. Supporting oneself and one's family is the primary foundational purpose of work. We spend more than half our lives working. If we load that time with excessively high expectations or heavy emotional burdens, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment and anxiety. When we become fixated on things like salary, status, reputation, or external validation, we become overly sensitive to others' opinions, their tone of voice, their fleeting glances. We get caught up in every little thing that doesn't go our way, every minor discomfort. Over time, this creates a suffocating pressure that leads to burnout. If this state of mind persists for decades, work can literally erode our well-being and drown us in a sea of misery. Her advice? Don't place overly grand expectations on your work. Whether you're a fresh-faced newbie or a seasoned veteran, don't overthink the tasks your boss assigns. Just focus on doing them well. The moment you frown and think, "This job isn't right for me," you're just adding to your own anxiety and making it harder to continue. So, when faced with any task, adopt a mindset of, "Let me try this first." Don't be so quick to dismiss it or give up. See it as an opportunity to hone your skills, to learn something new. Even if you can't bring yourself to love your job, at the very least, try to eliminate the hatred for it from your mind. Strive to do your best with what's in front of you. Until she was 88, Dr. Nakamura worked 6 days a week, always busy. Many people assumed she must deeply love her job to maintain such a schedule at her age. But the reality was more nuanced. In her 20s, she worked to support herself. After marriage, her work became the foundation for her family's life, so she felt she absolutely had to continue. She lived with this pragmatic mindset for decades, day in and day out, until work simply became an integral part of her existence. It allowed her to flow with life, to let things unfold naturally. For her, agonizing over not having the perfect or suitable job was entirely unnecessary. She believed that the probability of finding a job you truly, passionately love is akin to winning the lottery. Instead of perpetually worrying, "I haven't found my ideal job yet," it's far more productive to diligently apply yourself to your current work. And who knows, one day you might stumble upon something more suitable, or your current work might transform in unexpected ways. The secret to whether life feels valuable or dull, interesting or tedious, lies in your willingness to reconcile with yourself. When faced with a destiny that offers no other immediate choice, why not gently accept it? Try to find some enjoyment, some engagement in your current work. Remember, the primary purpose of work isn't necessarily to find validation or self-actualization, though those can be wonderful byproducts. It's fundamentally about earning the means to continue experiencing life. When you reach 70 or 80, you'll realize that wins and losses, glory and decline are like passing clouds. They don't define your intrinsic value. There are things far more important: family, health, your inner peace. Having food to eat, a roof over your head, and a job to sustain yourself, that's already a great deal. Coming home from work, reflecting on having done your best to complete your tasks and contribute to those around you without expecting constant praise or recognition can bring surprising and wonderful rewards in the later chapters of your life. However, and this is a crucial point I want to emphasize, drawing from her wisdom and other modern insights, while many will tell you to chase your dreams and do what you love, this doesn't mean blindly following your emotions without a plan. When can you actively choose to leave? It's when you are fully prepared and ready to take responsibility for all the consequences of your decision. If you quit your job without knowing how you'll afford groceries next month or pay rent, you're not prepared. If you decide to leave your stable job to open your own business but have no capital and need to borrow money at high interest, you're not adequately prepared. This echoes the wisdom found in books like Side Hustle, which talk about the importance of financial prudence. The way to prevent your job from becoming a set of shackles is to manage your personal finances like a company. Think about it. A well-run company rarely relies on a single product for all its income. Typically, it has a stable core source of revenue and then uses the profits from that to develop other products or ventures. Your personal company should operate similarly. Your current salary is your stable income. Nurture it. Then leverage the stability it provides to develop a second income stream, or to save and accumulate resources so that you have the time and financial cushion to develop a different career path in the future. So yes, bravely breaking free from a fixed job can be a catalyst for life-altering change, but it requires thorough preparation and a willingness to accept full responsibility. If you're not there yet, then find peace and acceptance in your present situation. Any honest work can earn you a living, but no job itself can make you miserable. It's often our own mind, our own thoughts and resistance that cause the deepest suffering. This leads us to another profound insight from Dr. Nakamura. Don't live life with clenched fists. Learn to relax and flow with the natural current. Imagine a swimming competition. We often hear the crowd yelling, "Go harder, use more strength." There's a common misconception that if you just exert all your power, thrash against the water, you can overcome its resistance and reach the other side faster. However, fluid dynamics teaches us the opposite. The more forcefully you fight the water, the slower you might actually go. Water has a nature. The force you exert on it, it returns to you. Life is much like a river. If you approach it gently, with a sense of ease and flexibility, you're more likely to move forward smoothly. Yuki Takahashi, in his book Life Doesn't Need Too Much Effort, wisely states that there are two common regrets in life. First, not doing what you could have done, and second, having to exert far too much effort. Effort is, of course, a prerequisite for success in many endeavors, but overexertion, constantly straining and forcing things, becomes counterproductive. Reading Dr. Nakamura's account of her life, you get a sense of someone who lived with a remarkable degree of looseness or relaxedness. It was this gentle yielding to the flow that allowed her to navigate over 90 years of a life she deemed worthwhile. So how can we learn to glide more gently with the currents of life without constantly feeling like we're struggling upstream? According to Dr. Nakamura, the first step is to willingly discard unnecessary baggage. And what is this heavy baggage weighing us down, making each step arduous? It's our expectations. The first piece of luggage to toss overboard is excessive expectation of ourselves. Others can do it, so I must achieve it too. I have to be successful to make my family proud. These self-imposed pressures often stem from a deeper place. Either we're admiring someone else's life to the point of unhealthy comparison, or we're constantly measuring ourselves against others. When we're young, setting high expectations can be a powerful motivator, driving us to work hard. That's not inherently bad, but as we mature, we must learn to understand ourselves better, to gradually let go of the relentless thought, I want to achieve more, more, more. Because whether you lead a life of meteoric rise or quiet simplicity, whether you have children or live a life of solitude, if you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you'll never find true contentment. There will always be someone who seems to have more, do more, or be more. As a psychiatrist, Dr. Nakamura witnessed countless patients who, on the surface, led enviable lives, yet internally, they harbored unspoken pain. She saw business owners whose companies were flourishing, but who were physically and emotionally exhausted, grappling with relationship problems and profound loneliness. She encountered beautiful young women with successful husbands and well-behaved children, yet they suffered from insomnia because friendships had fractured due to envy. She knew of a young woman married into a wealthy, prestigious family who was deeply unhappy due to a troubled relationship with her mother-in-law. Through more than 70 years of interacting with diverse human destinies, Dr. Nakamura profoundly realized that those who appear most prosperous and successful on the outside often endure more complex personal relationship pressures than the average person. Life's troubles don't magically disappear as money and status increase. In fact, they often morph into new, more intricate forms. Therefore, instead of enviously looking at others, constantly comparing and forcing ourselves to achieve this or that, leading to anxiety and suffering, it's far better to accept our current circumstances and optimistically move forward at our own pace. Dr. Nakamura herself believed that others have their lives, and you have your unique trajectory. Throughout her long career, she never compared herself to others. She wasn't bothered if a younger doctor in her unit held a higher position. She felt no resentment if a colleague seemed to achieve better treatment outcomes. She was convinced that life satisfaction isn't determined by external benchmarks, and she never chased a life that mirrored someone else's. Only by adopting this mindset, she argued, can we truly live a life that is authentically our own and therefore worthwhile.
There's a powerful idea in the book The Courage to be Disliked, which states that it doesn't matter whether we are ahead or behind others. The truth is, we are all walking on a flat plane, not competing on a vertical axis. We are constantly moving forward, but not in competition with anyone. True value lies in continuously surpassing our own previous selves. When a person genuinely lives according to their own values, not forcing themselves to meet a barrage of expectations born from admiring someone else, then even if they only emit a faint firefly-like glow, even if they can only illuminate a small corner of the world, that person's life is already incredibly valuable. Beyond expectations of ourselves, the second piece of baggage we must discard is our expectation of others. If only my parents had treated me better. Why doesn't my child listen to me? Why does he always do things like that? These yearnings, these desires for others to be different, can create a constant turmoil in our minds. At 27, Dr. Nakamura entered into an arranged marriage. Only later did she discover her husband was an alcoholic. Whatever money he earned, he spent on himself, leaving her to shoulder the entire family's financial burden. In the era she lived in, divorce was rare and carried significant stigma, especially for children. For the sake of her children's happiness and her own physical and mental well-being, she had no choice but to adjust her mindset. She radically lowered her expectations of her husband to a single, stark point. As long as he could stand beside her and speak at their children's weddings, they would remain husband and wife. After setting this incredibly basic goal, she found she could relax. In her story, you see a form of patience that is distinct from mere endurance. She said that life often requires patience. If you understand this truth, you stop trying to just endure and instead start thinking about how to make yourself more comfortable within the given situation. When her second son was 5, she returned to work at the hospital, relying on her parents to help care for the children. However, once her parents took control of the household, new problems arose incessantly. They insisted on their methods for raising the grandchildren. They even had Dr. Nakamura's younger brother, who was in college, come live with them, leading to constant friction between her husband, and her parents. Life was overwhelming, a demanding job, a chaotic home life. If she had maintained high expectations for how everything should be, she would have collapsed. Instead, she consciously lowered her expectations of others and set achievable limits for herself. Her motto became, in the worst-case scenario, just achieving a level slightly above average is enough. She didn't expect her children to be perfectly raised. She didn't expect her work to be outstandingly brilliant. She didn't pray for a harmonious relationship between her parents and her husband. She just aimed for passably okay and let the rest unfold naturally. Eventually, this difficult period passed. Within 10 years, she became a professionally distinguished psychiatrist, and her children grew up well. Later, when her children married and had their own families, her husband, in his old age, mellowed and even became a rather good grandfather. It's true, isn't it? We all long for harmonious marriages, happy families, 3 delicious meals a day, and peaceful seasons. Yet, the life of an ordinary person is often precarious and chaotic. Faced with this reality, we cannot fiercely resist it. We can only try to go with the flow by lowering our expectations of others. Don't make things hard for yourself, and don't try to force those around you to conform to your ideals. There's a universal principle at play. If you aim for the top, you might achieve the middle. If you aim for the middle, you might only achieve the bottom. If you aim for the bottom, you might achieve nothing. And when we achieve nothing, feelings of greed, anger, and delusion arise. Therefore, stopping the incessant craving, reducing expectations, and not indulging in the fantasy that people and events will unfold according to our wishes, this is the wisdom for living a worthwhile life. And to truly lighten this burden of expectation, the most effective way is to cultivate what Dr. Nakamura called low desire and to embrace solitude. She herself was someone who pursued nothing beyond the basic necessities of life. She dressed neatly and modestly, didn't carry expensive bags or wear flashy accessories. She didn't chase gourmet food and had no strong desire for shopping. She often said that if you and your family are healthy, energetic, and you have one close friend to talk to, you don't really need anything more extravagant. Having lived through so many decades, she understood deeply that there is no environment and no person in this world who can satisfy you 100%. Even if you land what seems like your dream job, after a while, aspects of it will inevitably cause frustration. Even if you marry the person you believe to be your perfect soulmate, there will still be things about them that you find difficult to accept. The reality is, whether it's parents, family, friends, or lovers, others will not always be there for us, nor will they always prioritize our needs. Even a child you love with all your heart will eventually become independent and start their own life. Even a person you've poured your entire being into loving can leave you. So, for all the people you meet on this earthly journey, for everything you wish to hold on to, the best way to harmonize is, when they come, rejoice. When they go, let go. In the book 6 Lectures on Solitude, it's noted that solitude is the beginning of a complete life. If you don't have experience being alone, you won't know how to truly connect with others. It might feel unsafe or frightening to intentionally shed some of this baggage, to face being alone. But when you embrace solitude, you naturally stop expecting too much from others. When you reduce your desires, you also stop feeling the need to compare yourself with everyone else. In this way, your life becomes less shackled and you can live more freely, in harmony with yourself and, paradoxically, with those around you. This brings us to a culminating piece of wisdom, a thread that ties everything together. Whatever you encounter, it all has value. One of the most resonant quotes from Dr. Nakamura's reflections is this: "Life is a journey of only going forward, never returning. Therefore, be grateful for every scene you witness along the way." This became a cornerstone of her lived experience, a lesson she distilled over many, many years. Be grateful for everything that comes and goes in life. If you live with a heart full of gratitude, then no matter how arduous or tedious your work may be, you will cherish each moment. You'll be grateful that, at the very least, this stable job allows you to sustain your life. Living with gratitude also sharpens your senses, making you more attuned to the warm, gentle glimmers of light in everyday life. It's like what Haruki Murakami beautifully expressed: "You must remember the people who held an umbrella for you in a heavy rain, those who silently hugged you in the darkness, those who made you laugh, those who talked with you through the night." Whether it's someone who cares deeply for you or a stranger you've never met before, you will etch in your memory the ways they helped you. You'll remember their presence and their contributions that allowed you to continue experiencing this life. Whether what you receive is bitterness or sweetness, you'll no longer grumble or keep score when others ask you for small, perhaps even unreasonable favors at work. Just try to do your job well, contribute to those around you, and strive to be a reliable person in both your professional and personal life. If you do this, you will eventually see the truth in what the English writer John Ruskin once said: "To do your best for others is, in the end, the best thing for yourself." However, there's an important distinction to make here. Actively choosing to take on tasks and help is different from deliberately trying to please everyone or becoming a doormat. Sometimes you need to be discerning. Are you helping someone achieve something meaningful, or are you being taken advantage of? And then you need to know how to decline gracefully when necessary. It's about contribution, not self-negation.
Finally, when you carry gratitude in your heart, you no longer sigh in the face of difficulties. Instead, you might even thank these challenges for honing your willpower and strengthening your character. Dr. Nakamura firmly believed that everything has two sides. Painful experiences, she taught, serve to expand our human nature, much like muscles need to be exercised and stretched to grow stronger. The fruits of life don't always appear immediately, but in every single moment, there is undoubtedly something to be cherished. Be grateful for life itself, without demanding specific outcomes from it. When you can do that, you will truly see that this world, this human experience, is indeed precious, and that you are living a life that is undeniably worth living. And that, my friends, is the essence of Dr. Suneko Nakamura's profound yet simple wisdom. It's a call to shift our perspective, to embrace our realities with a little more grace, a little less expectation, and a whole lot more gratitude. It's not about achieving some mythical state of constant bliss, but about finding the inherent value in the journey itself, with all its imperfections and surprising turns. Thank you so much for joining me today, and for lending me your ears and your time as we explored these powerful ideas. If this message resonated with you, if it sparked a new thought, or offered a bit of comfort, please consider sharing it with others who might benefit from hearing it too. And of course, if you enjoyed this discussion, I'd be so grateful if you'd give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on our future explorations into living a more meaningful and fulfilling life. I'm truly excited to bring you more insights and conversations like this one. Until next time, take care, be kind to yourselves, and remember the immense value within your own unique life.